Hi guys, it's Brooke Goodwin here. I am going to tell you about Nearpod today and some of the new tips and tricks that it has that will make your classroom life a little bit easier. So I'm going to start off by just showing you Nearpod and kind of walking you through some of the things, and then we'll work on creating a new Nearpod through a Google slide. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. All right, so here we are in Nearpod. Okay, looks just like this when we start off. We have your lessons right here. You have your profile. You can look at your reports, which is where you will find your data from the lessons that you have given your students. Now, this is really new and it's very neat. This is the subplan. So you can create a subplan to be able to use for any day that you're out, if it's an emergency or if you plan on being out. Now, you also have different libraries where it has lessons that are already created for you. You have your school library. So this is just for your school. But then you also have the district library, which is through all of Garland. Okay. Now, this is also very neat. You have programs for English language learners, something that's able to help them in step-by-step processes if they're having trouble, okay? You are able to differentiate your instruction, support them, and make equitable learning experiences for them, okay? And what I really love about Nearpod is it's not just for English. You have all of the core classes right here that will help them, okay? You also have the Nearpod library, some more tips and tricks for the English language learners that are already created. You have historical perspectives and literacy, and then you have the vocabulary video pack. All right. And right here, you have some more teacher resources that will help you along the way. If you have something that you're like, oh, I don't know how to do this, let me see if I can figure it out. There are live webinars here that you can attend, and they have a variety of times in case you're not able to fit into one specific time frame, and I really appreciate that. They also have getting started videos for you. So if you need to go and find something, they have it available here for you. Okay. There's also teacher and admin resources because admin need to know how to assist the teachers at times if they have questions. There's also a blog where you can see what other educators are working on, and they also have communities that you can join so that you are able to collaborate with other teachers. But let's go ahead and go back to Nearpod, and I want to show you one of the really neat tricks that we have that's brand new. Let's go ahead and add a subplan. So let's say that we're going to be out tomorrow and we want our kids to work on a Nearpod assignment. Okay, so let's go ahead and say we're going to be out. Let's go ahead and create this, okay? So we don't have anything added yet, so let's go ahead and start adding lessons. All right, so let's look at a bad robot. This is from ReadWorks. So they already provide you a few items that you can go and you can look at. So let's go ahead and look at this. Add it. All right. Add lessons and notes for a bad robot. Include any details for your substitute about this lesson. Please read and answer the questions independently. Okay. How many classes should get this lesson? All right. So you could have however many classes you have. All right. So, all right. Now you can preview it here. So this is a collaboration with Nearpod and ReadWorks, which is really neat because it's two really wonderful sites that have brought together some really great collaboration. And you have tips and tricks for the sub so that you don't have to add anything else. So print copies of the text for students to practice annotating as they read. A PDF is provided at the end of the lesson. This is something you can plan ahead of time and have it for the sub. Use the introductory question slides to model making connections. Consider asking students to volunteer their own connections. Okay, see, great little points right here for the success criteria that they're wanting us to do. Okay, it lists the objectives, accurately answer comprehension questions about the text, makes text to self, text to text, and text to world connections while reading, make connections while reading to identify key details and understand the text more deeply. And it gives you an essential question. How can we create connections with a text? And then it gives us different things that we can go through. So we have understanding textual connections, the types of connections, and then it gives details about the text to self, text to text, and text to world. And so it gives a discussion aspect where you are able to practice the types of connections, and it gives you a prompt to make the connections and type them here. So one of the text to self, text to text, and text to world connections. So right here is where they would do that. You have an open-ended question that they will be able to answer right here, and then you will get that information once everything is completed on their end. Another open-ended question. And then the third open-ended question. Okay, and then we have a try on your own. So it gives them the PDF that they're able to read and then make these connections on their own. All right. So that's just one little way that you can use this. And now it's not just for English. Like we said, you can go and look up math. We can look at ratios, okay? And let's preview this. All right, so this is going to be matching. All right, so let's go and look at that. Get ready to put your knowledge to the test. Let's get started with writing unit rates with ratios of fractions. All right, so the instructions match each situation with a unit rate that describes it. So this tells them or gives them the opportunity to practice what they've learned. And it will show you how many times it took them to get it right. So that's a really neat way that you are able to give the students access to something that they're supposed to be working on while you're out. I've loved the subplans. Now, let's go ahead and look at the district library. So you have several things right here. Time to climb is one of their favorite things to do. And I'm going to show you that when we create our own. But let's go ahead and just preview this time to climb. And I believe it said it was over figurative language. Okay. All right, so it's going to give them questions and then they are going to have to answer it. And if they answer it correctly, their little person will move up the mountain. So literal language is meant to be taken as it is written. The words mean what they say. Figurative language is the opposite because, and they give you, it is written in a different language. It is never true and is always a lie. It uses wordplay that suggests meaning instead of just stating it. It has no meaning and is used only for decoration. Oh, and here are the other questions, okay? So here's one on hyperbole, onomatopoeia. So it gives them really higher level thinking questions that they're able to read and analyze and make an inference from. and then you can go ahead and just add it to your lesson. And they would be able to go through it. Okay. So we have that here. Now I'm going to show you how we are able to create our own Nearpod in a presentation. Okay, so here I have just a blank Google slide, and we can title this Nearpod training. Okay, so the first thing you need to do is add the Nearpod extension, and all you have to do is go to extensions up here. And if you don't already have it, just go to add-ons, get add-ons, and then type in Nearpod. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and open it, and it's going to load a little side queue right here. And right here, you have a list of things that you can create in the slide so that you are making it your own. Now, I am going to use a vocabulary device right here, and I am going to click on it, and it will bring up vocabulary, and you can type whatever you want to search and add that video into the Google slide. So for the next few weeks, we are going to be looking at the gift of the Magi. And so I want them to be able to watch a little video that kind of explains the gift of the Magi. So right here, you can preview it before you add it. You can play it. See how you like it. Not able to hear it right now, but this seems like something that I would want. It gives the story of the gift of the Magi as a song, and it's something that they're going to enjoy. So I'm going to go ahead and add that. Okay, so here I have it. And then I can add another slide right here. I'm just going to make it a blank one, and then I'll delete this. And I can add an open-ended question, which is what I want to do. Okay, and the open-ended question that I want the students to have is, oops, I don't mean to have a strike through. Over the story, The Gift of the Magi, I want them to summarize the text. Okay. And I want them to list 3 to 5 key events from the story in the order in which they happen. And I want to give more specific instructions saying your summary should include main points from the beginning, middle, and end of the story. Okay. And I'm going to add an image. Okay. And I can either upload it from the drive, from the cloud. Let's see. I can put hair clip and see what pops up. And the reason I'm just doing that is to go along with the story, The Gift of the Magi. Okay. You can have the students record their answer. I am not for this aspect. And then you can go ahead and save it. Now, I talked about the time to climb, and here it is. Okay, so you can add that. And you can integrate them here if you want, or you could type in your own question and the answers, and then you'll just click whichever one is correct. Now this is new, this is Sway, and I really liked this because it gives you examples of ones that are already done for you. And what Sway does is just give you information about a subject. So we have animals, countries and continents, famous landmarks, historical events, seasons and extreme weather. This helps a lot more with the science aspect and the social study because it gives information about places and people. So let's say we want to teach about climate change. Okay, let's go ahead and preview the climate change. So it talks about climate change and you're able to scroll down, gives you an overview, gives you the etymology, gives you pictures, gives you the definition and characteristics. And then you're able to click through like the causes, sea levels, deforestation, things that are caused by climate change. And it gives you tips to reduce your carbon footprint. So let's go ahead and just add this Sway. I know it doesn't really tie into the gift of the Magi, but it was pretty neat. And I want to show you what it looks like all together. All right, so let's say that's all we want for this Nearpod. We'll go here and say save and go to Nearpod, and it will create us our assignment in Nearpod. Okay. So we have our Nearpod training here. Let's go ahead and preview it. All right, go ahead and watch it. And for some reason, my sound is not working, but that's okay. We'll go ahead and move to the next slide. So here's the Microsoft Sway that's inside of the Nearpod. You still just scroll through it, it gives you all of that information, but it's really neat because you already have this information that's provided for you. All you needed to do was look for what you wanted to teach about, and it gives the kids a way to go through everything without it being, all right, here's the information, take the notes down. They're able to go at their own pace. All right, and then their open-ended question that we created here, it gives you the instructions right here of what to do, and right here, they're able to type. So they could say, my summary is, and that's never the way that we want them to start it, but for training purposes, let's do this. My summary is that they learned that the true meaning of gift giving is to give from the heart without caring what it cost. Okay. And then they are able to submit it once it's done. Okay, and like I said, you can either do it through a live participation where you are going through with it and controlling when the slides are moving, or the student pace when they're able to do it on their own. Okay, so that's just a little overview of what Nearpod can do. And like I said, you do have more resources here in Nearpod under the teacher resources. They do have several webinars that are coming up that are very helpful, and it gives a little bit more detail in this little slower pace. And if this is something that's not available to you, you can also email them and try to find a time that would work for them, and they'll be happy to work with you. They also have key implements of what they're going to do, like how to plan and create, Nearpod for beginners, and they have different levels of what to do. All right. Thank you so much for taking this time, and I hope you found this helpful.